You can instantly feel what's wrong. Something's off with you. We do this all the time, but now you know the science behind it. I will never forget the moment that I heard my fiance's voice for the first time. It was at Planet Fitness, and he was working behind the desk, checking people in. And he also was a trainer out on the floor. And I heard him training someone one day. It's the most incredibly sexy voice I've ever heard. He's got a very low voice. It's very sandpaper and smoke and gargly, and it's really deep and raspy. Very sexy. And I thought, oh my God, like it sent chills up my spine. He didn't know my name. I didn't know his name. We didn't even make eye contact yet. His voice alone sent me into a reaction. I had a beautiful reaction and I had to have him. This is the power of your voice. We all know that experience. Maybe it's not with a sexual attraction, but maybe you can close your eyes and you can think back and you can recall someone who is really important to you, their voice. You can't really remember anything they've said to you, or maybe you can remember a couple things, but it's their voice. But maybe then, when you're really honest, you can't even really remember their voice. You remember the feeling that the voice gave you. No one is going to remember the words that you say necessarily. Maybe like 10%, and I think that's the data, by the way, 10 to 20% we recall. The rest of it is all how you make them feel. Why is that the case? Well, let's actually dial it back to look at what is happening when I'm speaking and when you're listening. So right now, my mouth, my throat, my tongue, the air in my lungs is all working together to create sound. All it is energy coming from me and going to you. Energy in the form of moving molecules of air around. That's what sound is. And it's energy being converted from me to you. So when you go to speak to someone, that's what you're doing. You're moving energy out of your body into the world, and it's being received by another person. This is what we do all day long. Whether or not you open up your mouth is up to you. We are always moving energy between beings. This is why you can stand next to someone and just kind of get a bad vibe about them. Or have you ever stand next to someone and you're like, you keep kind of looking at them because you're like, that's a cool person. I don't know what it is. Do I know them? You like check twice to see, do I recognize this person? You just feel connected to some people and repelled by others. Why? That's energy. Our heart is the largest producer of electromagnetic energy in your body. Scientists tell us that there's and this is factual, this isn't made up. There's a 3-foot biofield around you at all times that comes from your heart. This is a biofield that is of your heart. It is an electromagnetic field, a biofield that comes from your heart. And this gives off information. We can read this. When someone's 3 feet next to me, they are going to feel exactly what I'm going through that day. Whether I'm happy and in a great elated mood and really optimistic and positive and open, or they're going to feel that I'm down and out. They're going to feel that I'm sad. And don't you already know this? You can you can attune to people, especially when you know them. You can instantly feel what's wrong. Something's off with you. We do this all the time, but now you know the science behind it. It's not like you're intuitive. You may be. It's more like you can feel their heart's biofield and you're picking up on it and they can pick up on yours. Now, what's really cool is that we can actually expand our heart's biofield out by another 2 to 3 feet, depending on the meditation you're doing, depending on your visualization practices. So how cool is that? Imagine being that superhuman. And I don't mean superhuman as in cosmic powers. I mean like human skills superfied, like just enhancement of what is already there. Imagine being that human being who's walking around with a 6-foot biofield in all directions, up, down, behind you, side of you, front of you. This is the kind of impact you make on people before you even open your mouth. Please hear that again. It's not what you say that matters. It's the energy that you're in before you say it. So instead of focusing on the next time you need to speak at work or the next time you want to go live, but you're nervous, but you want to talk about your brand, your business, your marketing, or the thing you got coming up, the next time that you are talking with your friend and you really want them to know something more about you so you can grow your intimacy in that relationship, which I have done recently over the last few months, by the way, and it is so worth it, let me tell you. You want to first think, what energy state am I in? Because the other human being who's receiving your words is going to feel your energy and respond to that way before they hear your words. And why is this important? Because if you're speaking to someone and trying to persuade them, but they are in a negative closed state, you won't succeed. Your words will fall on deaf ears, as they say. You just won't get anywhere with that person. So it's much more important to read that person's energy first before you go and talk about how maybe we should put the house on the market and move. Is my partner even in an open, receptive mood? And if not, what could I do to get them there? This is called reading the room when you are teaching or coaching, by the way, or standing on a stage. Know your audience. Did they just come off the planes? Are they exhausted? Have they eaten yet? Is the person who's going to be listening to me tired? What have they been doing already today? What's going on at home that I'm not even aware of? All of these things factor into that person's heart being open or closed. So some of the skills that you can start to work are making people smile and laugh before you announce what you want to announce, or get them to say yes to what you're proposing. Because honestly, laughter and smiling, we love to smile. Human beings love a chance to laugh even more. So maybe instead of you focusing on giving the best presentation of your life, you learn how to tell a few jokes. Maybe you do what I'm doing right now and smile more before you ask for that scary raise. Yes, it's scary. So, no, you don't want to smile. But now you understand that the energy state of the receiver of that energy that you're giving them, your energy buddy, needs to be considered before you go and say or ask for the thing that you want to. Does this make sense? Now you're getting more invested in that human being on an energetic level. We're starting to connect more on a human emotional level. How is my dear brother or sister on this planet right now? Let me check in with the human being that's here. Your heart matters. Remember, it's what shows up before your words, your intention, who you're being. So by you being open, there's something magical that can happen. We don't need to worry about being the best joke teller. Maybe you don't feel like smiling. So, okay, Kim, what are the other moves you got? Well, there's something called entrainment. Have you heard of that? I'm going to leave you with this last little scientific detail, and then I'm going to close out with a little bit of a question for you. So, entrainment is a biological phenomenon. And what that typically means, or what does mean, is that one stimulus is the stronger stimulus. It can actually get the smaller stimulus to do what the larger stimulus is doing. So we see this with heartbeats, for example. So if someone has a particular heart rate that's maybe stronger and more loving and open, and they're standing next to someone who has a more out, let's just say out of rhythm with the other person, and they're more in a negative state or maybe more closed down, just close proximity of being with that stronger, more potent, more open and loving force field of the heart, that biofield of the heart, their hearts of the negative person will start to entrain or become like the positive person's heart. We also see this in fireflies out in the dark in the summertime. Have you ever noticed you watch their little butts glowing? There's a moment where it looks chaotic. There's no entrainment. There's no rhythm. And then all of a sudden, if you blink, you'll miss it. But their little butts just start to glow all at the same time. And then boom, before you know it, they're back out of rhythm. Well, that moment when they were in sync, that was entrainment. We also see this one more example with cuckoo clocks. If you see a wall with pendulum swinging, Have you ever noticed how, or maybe even just 2 or 3 clocks, there's a moment where the chaos, the lack of rhythm is matched with rhythm and synchronicity. And then they get out of balance again. They go back into their own rhythm. So we have the opportunity, it's happening all of the time anyway, to get someone to entrain with our own biofield. If a loved one is down and out and not feeling good, just your presence alone of love, caring, optimism, positivity can lift them up as well. You can be, like Swami Vivekananda used to say, a forklift for humanity. Lift other people up. And the way you do that is by checking in and attuning your own energy to what you want to be. Do you want to be that love in the world? Do you want to be that optimism? Do you want to be that person that creates incredible change with everyone around you so that on your funeral day, the line is out the door and people are talking about how great of a person you are? I've been to funerals like that where everyone is just happy. It's like no one's crying because that person, yes, they'll be missed, but everyone is like, this was the best person. What an incredible human being. And all of these incredible stories about how everyone's lives were impacted by this positive person. Don't you want that? I want that. I know you do. And you are that person that will be the scene at your funeral. I think it's important to think about that from time to time. When I'm gone, what is a legacy? What will people say about me? Have I impacted people's lives in a positive way? But now the next question is, what will I do today? So what will you do today? What's your plan? To not just use words that have zero filler energy in it, right? It's like a Twinkie, or you're gonna go to the orange, the produce and actually get the orange. You're gonna go for the orange flavored, crappy condiment thing that is delicious. I love Twinkies, but that's crap, right? There's nothing in it. There's no substance. Or you can get the orange, the real deal from the grocery store. The orange, the real deal, is you packing your words full of energy and knowing that even before you open your mouth, you've already created a positive impact in this world just by showing up in the right energy. Now, here's the kicker. Because you're already in this high energy state, because you're really aware of your biofield and wanting to grow that even more, what naturally starts to happen inside of you is self-love. Self-love and openness and a wanting and a desire to share who you are with the world. And this is what allows you to go live, to share, to pitch, to open up, to create that content on social media, to stand up, to post your flyer on the cafe corkboard and say, I'm here. I've got a mission. I've got a purpose. I'm going to do it. This is also the energy that allows you to talk about really tough topics with your significant other so you can move forward and have more moments of joy in your marriage or your relationships, or have that tough talk with your kid, right? Like these are the things that you have to do first before we even open up our mouth. So I've got one more episode coming your way within this sort of vibe of speaking and opening up that's about and for my leaders and my entrepreneurs and my passion project babes and my side hustle warriors. This next episode is going to be about you really understanding what selling is. And I've got a hint for you. It's a lot more about heart and soul than you think. If this has impacted you guys, if you really like this episode, I would love to know. If you're watching the YouTube video, drop me a comment below, give me a like and a subscribe. I appreciate it. And if you guys are listening on the podcast, I'm so grateful that I got to be in your ears. And I know that it's digital, but I hope you can feel my heart's biofield today. I can certainly feel yours. Have an awesome day, guys, and see you next episode.